Hi, everyone. I'm out here on a walk with my chief political advisor, Patty, who you may see walking around in the background. And we wanted to make a quick video to really talk about a phenomenon that a lot of people are not happy with, and that's members of Congress serving for decades at a time. I really think the major points boil down to three main things, all of which we can do something about. The first point is this. Money plays a huge role. 97% of candidates who win have more money than the other side. In order to get that amount of money, members of Congress spend up to 70% of their time fundraising. Now, as an individual member of Congress, that's a lot of time not actually doing your job and just fundraising. And we'll get to that in a second. But for anyone who wants to challenge them and actually primary them, to challenge them for their seat, to maybe do a better job or a different job, that also means that you have to be ready to take up to a year, year and a half, and sometimes 2 years off from work. And you have to be able to raise probably $2 to $3 million as a rookie to really be able to compete with the full-time fundraising machines that these politicians have. Now, we as the United States created the system. We can create a different system of how much money should play a role in these elections. But that leads me to my second point. I've never met a member of Congress that enjoys doing the fundraising part. So why do they keep doing it over and over and over again? And that really boils down to mostly the structure of Congress itself. You see, Congress is based up on this committee structure, and the way that committees are assigned is largely based on seniority, particularly leadership roles. And to be a rank and file member of Congress as a rookie or as a junior member of Congress, you don't really have that much control to be able to get the change that you thought you were elected to create actually done. That power, that opportunity to create change comes with seniority, comes with the opportunity to be a ranking member or to chair committees. That's the structure in which we created for Congress. And the committee structure isn't going anywhere. It has been around for a very long time. So for members of Congress who don't like fundraising, part of the reason why they keep fundraising is the opportunity to actually have the influence within Congress that they think they need in order to create the change that they want to create. And that is based on seniority or number of years served. With that being said, we are also seeing changes to that system where people who are really great at fundraising sometimes get bumped up. Other people who are really great on TV sometimes get bumped up. It doesn't have to be based on seniority. And that leads me to my last point, my third point, which is if members of Congress are camping out in their seats because they want to be senior enough, but they don't want to change the fundamental rules because it's what they know, or they aren't able to change the rules because there's too much money at stake, what can we really do? And that is to primary them. Primaries are incredibly important. They're a healthy part of how our democratic system is supposed to be working. Yet, several members of Congress have never been primary, or they haven't been primary for decades. And I really think that's incredibly important for each of us to know. From March until August of 2026, primaries across this country will be happening for different states. They happen at different times. You can get your information at your Department of States at the state level website. But there's two things I want you to know. One, 20% of Americans participate in primaries on average. If you think your vote doesn't count in the general election, or you think that you don't want to choose between two bad candidates, showing up to vote in primaries will have an outsized impact, and each of us, generally speaking, will have an opportunity to do that in some way, shape, or form. Even if your preferred candidate doesn't get elected, then just by showing up and seeing a spike, even a small spike in primary voter turnout, incumbents who have been in Congress for decades will start to get the message. And it's something we are all empowered to do. Show up to vote in primaries. If you can, going back to my first point, donate to individual candidates that you believe in, whether they're trying to represent you specifically or not. And lastly, when you do get a chance to ask your member of Congress, or when you want to call them up and write an email, or if you get to see them at an event, ask them about changing the seniority structure, changing how much money can play an outsized roles in our politics. These are all things that we can actually action as individual people in this country to actually create the change that we want to see. So again, it's showing up to vote in primaries. Only 20% of Americans currently do that. If we can bump that up a little bit, it will start changing politics. Start advocating to get money out of politics, but in the meantime, use money to really support candidates that you believe in, particularly at the primary level. And lastly, talk to your members of Congress, talk to your senators about changing the seniority system and changing how much money can play a role in our politics. And that will all help us get to a better, more representative future that we all want to get to. Thank you. If you haven't yet, please click like on this video, drop a comment below, and click that subscribe button. It'll help the YouTube algorithm make sure that these videos are getting into your feed. Thank you.